So this short section just to inform you guys how we just change our decision making for human when using AI. So I may give you guys the two approaches when we make decisions. So before AI, the decision we are making, we call it based is a theory-driven approach. So which means, so let's say you want to forecast whether the company is making fraud, right? So the theory-based decision is you have some theory ex ante. So you can see that if the company has like a very strong growth in recently, or the company doesn't have much sales going on, or inventory there's no much turnover in inventory. So this kind of it's a human based approach. You have a theory first, and then you use the theory to kind of detect what company is making fraud, right? This is kind of theory-driven approach. So what is the machine learning approach? Which means machine will what do is they'll capture what company is doing fraud, and then they do the reverse engineering and tell you what kind of characteristics this the company with fraud will have. So they can change the way of thinking, right? So you can see that in the earlier stage when we have without AI, what we have is we have to understanding first, right? So this company has really high growth. Something's wrong. So you have that observation first, and then to predict whether the company is making fraud. And with the age of AI, the things become different. The machine doesn't care. They just get the frauding company first, the company with fraud, and they go back to see what kind of characteristics the company is doing, and then inform us what kind of features of the company with fraud. And this is kind of changing the way of thinking for us. So let's look at another example of this. So when we do the sentiment analysis, so what do we do is, without the machine, let's say human world. So what people are doing is, first you have the earnings announcement, right? And we can humanly tell which words are positive words, which words are negative words, and they use the positive and negative words to predict future stock returns. Make sense? So this is kind of in a world without AI, we kind of using the earnings announcement to get the positive words, negative words, and using the human identified words to predict future stock returns. And in the world of AI, what do? We just to get what word is associated with future stock returns, and then we look at what is positive, what is negative. So we flip the logic. Because earlier in the world with human identify positive word, negative word, and they use that to predict future returns. And now, age of AI, we don't care about. We can just see what kind of any phrase, any word predict future stock returns, and we go back to check what's the positive, what's negative. You can see the change of the logic, right? So before you have to look at the words to classify positive and negative and use that. But with age of in the power of AI, you don't care about words. You just capture whatever can predict future returns, and you come back to see what word is positive predict, what word is negative predict, and you can see a great difference between the human understanding and the machine understanding in terms of positive words and negative words. So these are the things that change our logic, way of thinking. So we have to be cautious about that. I'm not saying which one is good or which one is bad. I just want to tell you we are changing. Before, we have to understand the phenomena first and make a decision making. Now AI just make a decision and come back to get the underlying mechanism. You can see the change of the thinking process. And then so you can see that we have three type of analysis you can make in AI. So the first one is you're using AI as a tool to create new things. So for example, so earlier you use one human to predict which company is doing fraud or not. When using AI to analyze the company's data and detect whether the company is making fraud, you are using AI as a new tool to detect the fraud, right? So this is type 1. This is type 1. The type 2 will be different. What's the type 2 stuff we are working on right now is, let's say if all the auditors are using AI to detect the fraud, how would this kind of manager respond to auditors? That would be the type 2 question, which means the question themselves has AI. has AI. So you can see the type 1 and type 2, the difference is type 1 question, we're only using AI as a tool to do something. Like we're using AI to predict future stock returns. We're using AI to detect the fraud. That's a type 1 question. The AI is just a tool to use. So type 2 question is different. Type 2 question is, how do people change their behavior responding to the rising of AI? That's the question in the type 2. You can see that the earlier case is, if you use AI to predict, to detect the company fraud, that's type 1 question. But once the corporate manager know everyone is using AI to detect fraud, how the managers to change their manipulation of earnings to fool AI algorithm, that's type 2 question, right? You guys can see the difference, right? You guys can see that. So type 1 is more of as using AI as a tool. The question themselves doesn't have a question. The type 2 is the question themselves has AI in it. The third one is more policy, like right now. So I told you guys the SEC, some organization under the SEC, they're trying to regulate the investment companies. They don't want to over-regulate, because if you over-regulate, you kind of discourage company to do more AI. So these are the 3 type of researches. I want you guys to be able to, when you guys get a job and working, you either using AI as a tool to help your clients, or you understanding what's the implication for the society with the rise of AI, or you help with the policy making. These are the 3 major jobs what people do when we talk about AI. And